Giovanni here with Academia de Lenguas. How many of you guys growing up watched Sesame Street? I did. Well, I did part of it anyways. My kids did. And who was your favorite character on Sesame Street? Was it Elmo? Right, no, or no. Was it Big Bird or was it Snuffleupagus? Hey there, Big Bird. Right, no. For me, it was the Count. That guy was cool, man. He would walk in, right, and he would just, the lights would turn on and turn out. He had the bats and the lightning, and he'd come in and he'd say something like this. Oh my goodness, how many students do I have in my classroom today? Let's count. 1 student, 2 students, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 fabulous students. Something like that. But anyways, get your students to do that. If not, replay this again and try along with me. It's really fun. But anyways, what was the purpose of him doing that? Exactly. He was trying to teach people how to count. That's what they called him, Count Dracula. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. Now, quick question. What is this? I gotcha. What is that? Very good. And what about that? Fantastic. Who is that? And what about that? And who is that? Exactly. Where are we? And where are we now? And what about now? Good old Los Angeles, right? Now, everything that you just mentioned, once again, is under a classification of words that we call nouns, one of our 4 pillars, right? Everything, every person, every place is a noun. Today, we're going to be talking about count and non-count nouns. We're going to start off with count nouns. Well, first of all, let's define this bad boy. A count noun is any noun that you can easily count. What is it? A count noun is any noun that you can easily count, or it is worth your time to count. For example, chairs, or my fabulous students, people, cars, I don't know, whatever. Now, to ask a question about quantity for count nouns, we use the WH word, or the expression, how many. So, for example, we would say something like, how many blank are there in the classroom? Okay? You could notice that we say are there. Do we have to use that every single time? No, not necessarily. But when you are teaching, it's a good idea to use are there, the be plus there plus be in your questions. That way you are teaching, you're coaching, you're guiding your students into answering it correctly in a complete answer. I'll show you in a second. So we say, how many blank are there in the classroom? Notice that I use are for count nouns when I'm asking a question about quantity. Okay? The answer, so let's say chairs. So how many chairs are there? How many students are there? For this example, we're going to use chairs. Now the answer would be there are. Notice that I changed the order of there plus be for the answer. Okay, so that's something that you need to focus on with your students. So there are blank chairs in the classroom. 7 for this example. Make sense? Now, we also have what is called, hopefully that's kind of easy. Now let's move on a little bit to something a little bit more interesting, I guess. Okay? A non-count noun. What does non mean? Non means no. So guess what? A non-count noun is any noun that you cannot easily count. So what is it? A non-count noun is any noun that you cannot easily count. We normally use a unit of measure, a weight, or a container to trade or to buy it. Okay? Or remember, if the previous one was worth your time, this one, it is not worth your time to count. For example, every morning I wake up, I brush my teeth, I wash my face, and my head gets wet, right? So when I look at the sink, I see the hairs that have fallen in the sink, and I can count those bad boys right there. I can say, okay, today I lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hairs. But So those hairs are easy to count, or they are for me sometimes. They're worth the time to count. But am I going to count the hairs on my head? No. Some nouns can be count or non-count depending on when or how it is that you're using them. And so if I say, how many hairs? There are 7 hairs. How much hair is on your head? There is a lot of hair on my head. Or on the sides of my head, right? But anyways, okay, different story. Now, when we say how much, when we want to ask a question about non-count nouns, instead of how many, like I said in the previous example, we use how much. So, it's same structure. How much blank is there on the beach? Notice that I went from are to is. Why did I do that? With non-count nouns, even if we're talking about plurals, we're going to use a singular form. Okay? Makes sense? So now, the answer of there plus be, we write it down, we would say, there is a lot of sand on the beach. We don't have a specific number. We can't count all the grains in the beach, nor can we count the stars, but stars are count. Now, there are different types of non-count nouns. We have liquids, such as gasoline, or beer, or coffee. Now, but you might say, well, Vladimir, you can count beers, or you can count coffees. Well, yeah, if you're talking about serving size. When you go to McDonald's, you pull through the drive-thru and you say, give me 2 coffees and 3 orange juices, please. But you're talking about the serving size. You are not literally talking about the liquid that is inside the cup. When you are talking about the liquid, you are talking about it is a non-count noun. The same thing happens to food, such as rice. Can you count rice? You know, do you go to the store and do you say, give me 536,000 grains of rice, please? No. You say, give me 2 pounds of rice. We're using a weight or a measure to trade or barter. Okay? Now, the rules that I'm giving you here, or most of the rules that I give you here during these videos, are a 90% rule. Okay? They're not ironclad and they don't always make sense. Specifically in this topic, rice is something that's really small and you can't count it. You can count it, but it's not worth your time to count. But now, beans? Do we count beans? No, we don't. It's also kind of small, the same as peas, but guess what? Beans and peas are considered count nouns. Well, I don't know. That's the way it is. That's one of the few times you will hear me say, that's the way it is. We also can talk about natural elements. Natural elements like dirt, or earth, sand, and wood. Can you count wood? You say, yeah, give me 2 wood, please. No, it doesn't work. No, we say 2 pieces of wood, 2 2x4s, or 2 planks of wood. You know, you are counting the planks, you are counting the 2x4s. You are not counting the actual element itself, or the material itself. And remember, we also, nouns we also have ideas. So now, ideas is an abstract concept. So the idea of love itself, is it real? Can you touch it? No, you can't touch it, but it is real. And love in itself is a noun. The same as knowledge. Okay? So now, let's talk about something. I know there's a big gorilla in the room right now. Have you ever heard about that? I always heard that. There's a big gorilla in the room. It's like there's something you want to talk about, nobody does, and here we go. I'm about to do it. Let's talk about categories. Everybody's going to say, Vladimir, what about money? Can you count money? Can you? The answer to that is no. That was the gorilla in the room. You can't count money. Think about it. I was like, what do you mean, Vlad? Right? You said, you can't do it. Give me 5 monies. No, but I could give you $5. Guess what? Now you're counting the dollars, you're not counting the money itself. When we are talking about different types or kinds of money, those are countable. Let me show you. Imagine you have money, drops down, boom, boom. You have dollars, you have euros, and you have pesos. You can count dollars, you can count euros, you can count pesos, but money as a whole is a category. It's an idea. It's a concept, right? The same thing with quarters and nickels and dimes. Or how about fruit? Boom, you got fruit. Do I say how many fruit? or how much fruit. How much fruit did you buy at the supermarket? You're going to say, I bought 2 bananas, 3 apples, and 4 pears. Cool? What about candy? I remember when I was a kid, I used to go trick-or-treating. And my mom would say, oh, son, what did you get? And I'd get this big old bag full of candies, and I'd dump it on the table. And would say, how much candy did you buy? Or how much candy did you get? Candy as a whole is a category. Okay? Now, when we're talking about individual types or kinds of candy, then those are what are counted, such as M&M's, Kit Kats, or Now or Laters. So, obviously, with count and non-count nouns, I can talk about this for days, but this is a basic idea about it. So, hopefully this helped you out a little bit, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye.